I think you can easily finish this race easily with that strategy. So don't go very aggressive. Have right goals in your mind and just work on that particular goal every day. Break the race into a per day goal, and you will be able to ride from Srinagar to Kanyakumari in under 12 days easily.
I am Baiki Venki, and this is the Working Athlete Podcast. Here, I talk to working athletes from all walks of life and experts from various sports to provide you with inspiration, training tips, time management, and lifestyle advice. If this is something that interests you, please make sure you subscribe to the channel so that you don't miss any future episodes. Today's guests are Amit Samarth, Jeetu Nayak, and Anirudh, who are the organizers of Race Across India, a 3,650 kilometer race from Srinagar to Kanyakumari that is slated to happen on 1st February 2023. Amit and his team has the distinction of successfully completing Race Across America and many other ultra cycling challenges across the globe. In this episode, we talk about the inspiration for Race Across India and what it takes for a cyclist to complete the event. The team also shared details about the race and what can be expected by the participant who sign up for Race Across India. The event itself has the potential to be one of the most prestigious races from India, and it was great to talk to the team behind it. I hope you find it useful. With that, let us get into my conversation with Amit and team. Welcome to the Working Athlete Podcast, Amit and team. It's a pleasure having you on the show.
Nice
Yeah,
to be here,
thank you.
Venki. I don't
Happy
know
to
if
be
I
here.
should call you Venki or should I call you just Venki?
Bikey Venky. That's how he's famous.
So I want to use this opportunity to talk about the new race that has taken shape, which is Race Across India, started by Amit and team, who have successfully completed the Race Across America, the 5,000 kilometer ultra endurance race uh, across America, as the name suggests. Now, this team has come up with a race called Race Across India, inspired by that Race Across America, which is about 3,000 odd kilometers, starting from Srinagar to Kanyakumari. So we will talk about that, how the race came about, how it took shape and what it involves and everything else. So welcome, team, again. Let us start by talking about how the idea for Race Across India came about, how it took shape.
Thank you, Venky, for inviting us for this podcast show. And actually, the team has immense amount of experience. We have done Race Across America, then we have done Red Bull Trans Siberian Extreme, then we have done ride across that India on the Golden Quadrilateral Highway, 6,000 kilometers, and then couple of other ultra cycling rides from like Delhi to Nagpur, Chennai to Nagpur. So there is a lot of experience with this team, and of course Jeetu sir is the most experienced crew member because he has been involved in all the projects personally and as a crew member or as a a person who is mentoring others to become crew members. So, and also and apart from that, Anirudh has been always been on the technology part. So Anirudh himself is a IT guy, and he's the has his own IT company, and he has been always helping us with the IT aspect of this whole ultra cycling and all. And Vivith Valve, who is the race director of Race Across India, he himself was my crew chief in Race Across America. and Milind Parivakam also has been my crew chief in couple of ultra cycling rides, and and he brings lot of detailed oriented work, Milind. And then there are others like Mukul, my wife, and Arushi, and Dilip Warkad, and Ravindra Paranjpe. So there are lot of people who are based out of Nagpur or related to this team. So the entire idea is to, because I have been doing this for so many years, so why not we organize race across India? And I think this is the best time to start it. Means somebody has to do it. So why don't we start doing it? So I think I think we have this team has the courage to start this whole thing, and we thought we should go ahead and start organizing race across India, and of course invite all the cycling community all across the country, because now cycling is a big sport in the country. It is growing leaps and bounds, and a lot of people are doing breves and ultra cycling races, and also rides like PBP and LEL, and all those rides are also a lot of, like, for LEL we had some 150 Indians going
Yeah,
for LEL. So that's a big number, 150 people going for London, Edinburgh, London. I think it's of course, we didn't had a very great success rate, but I think cycling is growing in a big way, and I think this is the best time to start it. And the cycling community should come forward and support Race Across India, because it has the potential to become India's iconic cycle race.
correct, correct. Definitely. Like you mentioned, the team has a huge, array of experience in taking part in ultra endurance events and executing them successfully, right? Be it Race Across America, be it Trans Siberian Challenge,
Yeah.
be it races that are local, I mean, events that are local, that are conceived by you guys and
Yes.
executed, like the Golden Quadrilateral Challenge and stuff like
Yeah.
that, right?
Apart from that, we have been organizing marathons and triathlons in Nagpur. So this team has a lot of experience of organizing events.
Great, great. Just talking about how the ultra cycling community is growing in India. You mentioned something like 150 people taking part in LEL. No, I have a slightly different number, but close to it. 120 people went
Okay.
from India apparently, and 55 riders successfully completed the event. Although it doesn't, on paper it doesn't look like, because it is less than 50%, but it is way closer to 50% success rate than it was before, right?
Right, right.
When I think from my from the time I have started cycling and started tracking all this, the first time anyone went to PBP was 2011, and about some 5 6 people, or maybe close to 10 people went, and I think one or two completed. And then 2015 was not they 2015 saw a lot more participation, but again, a lot less people were able to complete. Like, it was probably in single digits, right? Now if you look at it, the numbers, participation is in triple digits, and the completion is in, close to 50% and improving, right? So it is it is very encouraging to see the number of people who are able to do these massive rides, these ultra endurance rides. And there are so many people who are completing the 1,000 kilometers and 1,200 kilometer rides that are uh, being organized all around India, right? So it is clear indication that these massive events outside India, like LEL, which has
Uh,
so much varied temperature and climatic conditions, and
yeah.
the up and down nature of the course and everything, right? So all these challenges are thrown into the mix, and people are getting good at uh, not only tackling home conditions, but also these alien conditions, so to speak, in terms of weather, in terms of varied terrain. Uh, Riding in UK and Europe in nights with
Very difficult.
temperatures close to 0 degrees is not a joke, right?
Yes.
So I think the ultra endurance community is growing leaps and bounds, and it is the right time for an event like Race Across India to come in and help that journey for the Indian cycling community. So congrats
Yes.
on starting this at the right time. Um, help me understand what are the specifics of the event, what it involves, and what are the rules and regulations. Let us take one by one from uh, what would a person need, a rider need to be successful at an event like Race Across India, right? So let us start with what are the distances involved, what are the basic rules and stuff.
Jeetu sir, you can answer this.
Okay, just to add to what Amit has said, so when we started planning on Race Across America, it was with the intention that 38 years in its history, prior to 2017, no Indian had completed it, and like we have 1/6 of the world population, we couldn't really do this race. So that was really the challenge, right? And then Amit did that trial and everything, and then we went, and somehow we got the whole act together, and we managed to do it. Okay, just with 3 hours to go, and also Srini was there who completed. So two guys actually broke that chinks in
Correct.
2017, as late as 2017, right? And then that thought process started, and Amit really got into that orbit, so to speak. And then he did
Right.
Trans Siberian immediately the following year, and that was like an iconic, huge race which barely 7, 8 people in the world have done it. Okay, and then the thought process, and then we started looking around, and we saw that every country has got an iconic race like this, which is these long, ultra long distance, sort of the whole, everybody and anybody in the world is really looking at these races, and they're coming, and there's so much of potential, and it's so exciting. And then we thought, right then we thought that India is missing out on something like this. We have maybe 600, 800s, and maybe 1,000 kilometer race, nothing in that level, which is like 3, 4, 5,000 plus. So it was with that thought that just post the pandemic, we thought in I think it was 21, right? We went for the golden quadrilateral, and we thought that Amit should do a world record attempt, and we managed to put through. So just to give you a background, we had a handful of crew, and then in before that, maybe 5, 7 of us really had the experience of crewing Amit. But during the golden quadrilateral, we we created another 10, 15 more crew who got the experience of actually doing these kind of races. I mean, you must remember that ultra cycling is all about not just the rider but the entire crew which supports him. How crucial that is I can't tell you enough. So,
Absolutely.
and then Amit is relentless. He finishes one and he's already thought of the next one. Like he's thinking 4 steps ahead. So next on came the Delhi Nagpur race, and then ride, and then Chennai. So another few crew started. So slowly this thought of doing these long ultra cycling races in India, that this is possible with Indian conditions. You mentioned about how cold it is. The real challenge in India is the traffic. I mean,
Oh.
traffic rules, are they there, not there? Every place it changes. You know how it is. And to ride in those conditions, and Amit has done it repeatedly, 3 times safely. So we thought, hey, look, this is possible. Maybe we can bring that experience which people spend such a fortune to go abroad and get. Why not bring it here? Why not do it at 1/10 of the cost? Literally, Race Across America is somewhere close to anywhere between $60,000 to $100,000.
Hmm.
If we can give a similar experience, the same kind of crew and with same kind of setup and with the same kind of rules, start to finish, not a stage race. Where stage race is kind of complicated. We thought, why don't we do this? And that's the genesis of the whole thing. Coming to what we have on the plate is Kashmir to Kanyakumari is the most favorite, iconic sort of highway, and start to end, point to point, and 3,600 kilometers approximately. Um, and we have, Amit, you want me to tell about the categories and stuff?
3,650 kilometers.
50 kilometers, yeah.
Yeah, so the route distance is 3,650 kilometers, and we have two categories. One is solo and and teams. So teams can be team of two and team of four. So for solo categories, we have like the cutoff time is 12 days for anybody who is in the age group of 18 to 49 years. So 12 days you will get if you bike from all the way to Srinagar to Kanyakumari under 12 days, then you are officially recognized as the finisher of the race. So the entire objective is to make people race against time, not against each other. But the main objective is to everybody has a cutoff time of 12 days and make everybody race against that cutoff time. And the teams have a different cutoff time. Like for team of two we have 10 days, and for team of four we have 8 days as cutoff time. So it is little bit generous as compared to Race Across America. If you see, Race Across America standards are little more higher than Race Across India, but I think this is a good start for people, to encourage people to do these kind of races. I think anybody who is above 50 years and doing solo, we are giving 1 day more. Just like Race Across America, you get 1 day more. Anybody who is above 50 years or 60 years. So in Race Across India also, you are gonna get 1 day more if you are above 50 years to do the solo ride. So it roughly comes to almost around doing 300 kilometers per day for a solo rider, and it is very much possible for a experienced rider to ride with a crew support 300 to 350 kilometers per day in Indian road conditions. I think it is very much possible on this highway, because I have myself done a lot of cycling on this highway. I've almost done ride from Delhi till Bangalore. I have myself done. So so I think I have myself seen that the 2,500 kilometers already of this route, and it's pretty easy. It's all downhill from Sri. It's you just start off from Srinagar, and it is all downhill right till Kanyakumari.
Actually,
So
not all downhill. Amit, you always told me
Yeah,
that.
yeah, yeah. Right from
so
the map, huh? From the mountain to the sea.
yeah, just you just ride first 100 kilometers uphill, and it is all downhill.
Okay.
No, no, but seriously,
I think.
seriously, we spoke to some of the guys who are keenly, looking at this. They feel the first day right, team of four, they were thinking they will not be able to do more than 300, 350 because of the terrain in Kashmir, right? and that's how the average per day requirement goes up
Hmm.
subsequently. If you keep six
Right.
days, then it becomes very tough on the subsequent 5 days. So that was the thought process behind giving this a relaxation, so that more and more people can come in. It's more, bring would like to bring in as many aspirants as possible without them thinking that, it's impossible right at the beginning. They should not get that feel. So that's why we've done this relaxation. We had to really fight with Amit to get this done. He was pretty wanted those
Hmm.
standards there, but I think we need to get more and more people in. So that's how. Uh,
Yeah.
We need to
No,
increase
there.
participation in the race. And if you look at it, in the last 3-4 years, there have been riders who have done this route, in 8-9 days. I think there was this Kashmiri guy who did that Kashmir to Kanyakumari in 8 days. Teli, I think his name was Teli.
Yeah, yeah. 8 days, 9 days. Yeah, people have done it.
They're not unachievable standards, even for Indian riders. If you say, "Oh, okay, this is a new upcoming sport, and you cannot do it," people are doing it. I mean, Mahajan's. I think I don't remember the son's name. He also did a Kashmir to Kanyakumari. That was in the last 4 years. I mean, these actually events have also kind of inspired us to say, "Oh, this is definitely a doable event. It is not unachievable." And it is, it binds the country from north to south, which is, gives you the entire terrain. You go through the entire diversity, culture, all the it's a fantastic route. And the best part, as Amit said, it's all downhill, right?
that that part is debatable, but at least if you put the map up, it starts from the top and goes down. It doesn't mean it is downhill, but
Yeah. It is just to encourage people and have a little fun. Like it's downhill.
no, but seriously though, it is. I think the cutoff times, like you said, are not going to discourage people from taking part. But see, there are two ways to look at it, right? Uh, Maybe more than two ways to look at it, but the things that come into mind is when you are putting out an event, uh, you can make it challenging right from the get go and say uh, 3,000 kilometers for race across America, which is close to 5,000 kilometers. It is 12 days. So let us put something like 10 days or 8 days as cutoff, and say, uh, let it be challenging from the get go, right? And then there is another, and if you start that way, people will, maybe very less people will start coming at the start, and then once the people see that it is possible to do, although it is very tough to do, maybe more and more interest will come, and more participation will increase. But on the other side, if you look at a little bit more relaxed target, as in event is not as intimidating as say Race Across America, there can be more people willing to take part from the get go, right? So
if I may say something here,
yeah.
Venki, see, whether we can really compare Race Across America and Race Across India is a real big question. Is it apple to apple? In America, the traffic rule followed by everybody is so wonderful. It's unbelievable. We can't even believe something like that happens. So, for instance, you have a single lane. The entire traffic waits for you until you are able to, allow them to pass by. Everybody piles up. Now there are rules. The RAM people say that you cannot allow more than 10 vehicles. The moment there is a pile of more than 10 vehicles, you got to stop and let them go, especially when they're in a constricted single lanes. Can you imagine something like that happening in India? Nobody waits for anybody. The hard lines, the hard yellow lines, the which you are not supposed to overtake, I mean, do we even know what they mean? So, it starts from there. So, please do not compare the two in terms of that, So,
Yeah.
despite
No,
that, the terrain you can compare maybe. You have the same
mm,
mountains and similar hot, very hard, harsh, high temperature zones and stuff like that. But when it comes down to on the road, it's a different picture. And we've seen that in the 3, 4 rides done with Amit.
no, definitely. I completely agree with you there, where it is impossible to compare the conditions,
Yes.
even the climatic conditions, even the road conditions, the traffic conditions that we see somewhere in US or Europe to what you see here, right? That there is no cycling culture as such for us, and it is, it is up to the point that we don't exist, for people who are in motorized vehicles. So there is no, if we don't exist, there is no point of acknowledging us, or taking care of us, or giving us in the road, and all these things don't even come to the picture, right? So definitely, we can't really compare something that is happening in the US or the Europe to what is happening here. I completely agree with you there. And because the when we talked about it when I interviewed Amit after he has done the golden quadrilateral, the kind of traffic conditions, the time we can lose just due to traffic is humongous.
Yes, huge. I means
So
I am very much concerned because a lot of riders will lose a lot of time, crossing cities like Delhi, Hyderabad, Bangalore. I think these are the major I think roadblocks in terms of traffic. I am very much sure that the riders are going to lose 2 to 3 hours or maybe more, depending on the time when they hit these particular cities, that they might lose 3 to 4 hours crossing each of these cities. 3 to 4 hours each of these cities is like almost half a day, 12 hours gone. Yeah, but the good thing is, there are good and bad things on Indian roads. Like, good thing is, uh, this is a big highway. It is all four lane all the way from top to bottom, from start to end. And another good thing is, because there is quite a lot of traffic and all, and so the riders will never get bored on this particular highway because they will see all the time something happening, and because they will see a lot of traffic going, so that will actually help them to be awake. Because if they are riding sleepless or something like that, I think it helps you to, because if you are on a lonely road, it is much more likely to feel bored, and then you feel sleepy and those kind of things. And then apart from that, there will be a lot of restaurants and dhabas and petrol pumps, all kinds of whatever facilities you need will be almost available right on the roadside. So the teams will have to struggle for food, water, or any kind of things like whatever. Maybe if they need a puncture wala also, they will find on the highway. I think means that is the best part of Indian highways, because there is so much happening all the time. It never sleeps. The Indian highways the traffic will never sleep. It will just become less. So that's, I think, the best thing about Indian highways.
no, definitely, definitely. Uh, like you said, I was just trying to play devil's advocate when an event like this comes, especially with a name like Race Across India, which is, which sounds very similar to Race Across, anywhere,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Race Across America, Race Across Siberia, whatever it is, right? So the comparisons will come in and all that. So we have to take all these things into considerations, right? So but when you start, and we have people who have already done it in like 8 days and 10 days and stuff like that. But we know that it is possible, but then we have to also look at getting an event, mass event. It is like people who have done it in those record times have done it solo in with their crews. But it will be an organized race. We have to look at
Yeah.
the big picture and see how what is feasible and what is possible as an event to begin
Yes.
with,
Yes. Yeah.
and then we
Yeah.
can probably adjust right over the years.
What actually, you see, no, even if the cutoff time is 12 days, nobody is stopping you to ride this route in 8 days or 7 days.
Yeah,
If you are
exactly,
riding
exactly
fast,
what I was saying.
if you are riding fast, it's great. You will be more on the top side of the leaderboard. So, I mean,
See,
nobody is stopping you.
see, in RAM, the guys who finish the first three do it in like 8 days, right? Even though you have
Exactly.
12 days,
Yeah.
by the time the rest of the pack finishes, these guys are already resting in their respective countries in their home, and they're gone. So that 12 days is so important for people, those who want to finish, who come all the way. So that has
Right.
to be considered, and then whoever
Mm.
finishes fastest is great. We have a podium finish for them.
Right. Absolutely. Absolutely. Now that we talked about the categories: solo, two man and four man teams. Is it?
Yes. Yes.
Okay, so solo category has a cutoff time of 12 days, while two-man team has a cutoff days of 10 days, and a four-man team has cutoff of 8
8
days. Is
days.
that correct? Excellent. And the distance is 3,600 kilometers from Srinagar to Kanyakumari. Basically, you need two support cars at least, with one follow car being with the rider all the time. Is that correct?
Yeah, means that's the basic. I think, yeah, but if somebody is really wants to do it with just one support car, then he has to, have a, very, he cannot have a very aggressive goal for finishing the race successfully faster, because then you will have to give enough time for crew to sleep. With one car also, I think it's possible. If somebody is only targeting to ride 300 kilometers a day, then you can easily get the 300 kilometer by the evening, like by late evening 9 or 10 o'clock, and then your entire crew and the rider himself goes to sleep and take full 5 to 6 hours of sleep at some particular checkpoint or some particular dhaba, and then start a new day with full fresh crew and fresh rider, and just have a it's a very it's like a game of chess. This whole race across India, if somebody is only targeting to finish under 12 days, then just you have to have a strategy to get that 300 kilometer or 320, 325 kilometer every day. Ride 100 in the morning, 100 in the afternoon, 100 in the evening, and you just go to sleep for 5 to 6 hours, and then you are all fresh for the next day. And just keep your nutrition high. It will totally you will all recover by the next day morning easily, because I think that's what my experience is. 6 and 7 hours of sleep in ultra cycling is a big thing. It is like you are a totally new rider next day. So, and I think you can easily finish this race easily with that strategy. So don't go very aggressive. Have a have a right goals in your mind, and just work on that particular goal every day. Break the
Mm.
race into a per day goal, and you will be able to ride from Srinagar to Kanyakumari in under 12 days easily.
Right. So we know that in terms of budgets, something you mentioned before, that this can be done in like 1/10 of a budget of something like Race Across America, right? So what is the kind of numbers that people are looking at when one is looking to do Race Across India? What are the economics involved?
So we've actually done some sort of models on this, but remember, I mean, these are sort of conservative models, which means kind of overthinking, right?
Hmm.
And the pieces that we've seen is okay. You have vehicle, petrol, rent, toll, driver, lodging, food for the rider as well as the crew, and the travel to the start point and travel from the end point. So we are looking at, for all these three categories, depending on the number of cars and vehicles that we end up taking. For the solo, we are at this point, the model that we have, and we'll share this with the riders so that they can figure it out for themselves as well. As Amit said, each rider, will be creative on how they do the budgeting for themselves. But for solo, we are looking at around 4.5 lakhs as the the amount, the budget. We are looking at about let me look at that, give you the numbers. For two rider teams, we are looking at about 5.5 lakhs, and for four-person rider, we are looking at about 6.5. So these are rough numbers that I'm throwing out, and these are basically for things like vehicle, your vehicle related, which is petrol, the rent of a car if you're renting a car, driver, toll, lodging, food, and the travel start to end. So that's sort of the rough number I'm looking at this point. But
Okay.
I'm expecting people to be creative, Indians, jugadus. So I'm sure there will be a lot of jugad that will happen here, and we'd love to,
Yeah.
we'd love to see some creative solutions on managing costs.
Yes.
I mean,
Yeah. Yeah.
we will also learn with more participants. Everyone will come with their ideas. So I'm looking forward to seeing as to how people do the jugad and how they leverage technology in this space as well.
Definitely, definitely. So that is very helpful. So are these numbers including the registration fee we are talking about? Excluding.
Oh, it's excluding.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, and I think the registration details are also on the website. We are looking at
Yes.
what are the registration costs that they are looking at?
Costs are 1 lakh for solo, and 1 lakh 25,000. Last I remember, there was no changes
For
on that.
team of two. Yeah.
Yeah, there was a discount period. I think we've given a
We
early
are
bird.
still in that discount period.
We are still in the
Hmm.
early bird discount period, so there is a discount on that. And then for a four-person team, it's 1.5 lakhs. I mean, we'd love to see corporates partner in the four-person team events, right? I mean, I'd love to see a corporate say, "Oh, I'm going to sponsor this team." I mean, that's why we are doing the relays, because
Right.
these are achievable targets. Every team does, in a four-person team, every person has to do 100 kilometers, right?
Right.
If you look at it, it's very doable.
Right, right. Excellent. Yeah, that is very helpful. So, in terms of, we have events that are RAM qualifiers and stuff like that, right? Uh, uh,
Yeah.
is this, a RAM qualifier, or is it, recognized by the ultra cycling body and all that?
Yeah, so we are in talks with WUCA at the moment, and
Hmm.
we have we are working with RAM as well. But at this point, we have not yet uh, closed on the negotiations on that front.
Right,
Yeah, so
but
entire race is according to WUCA rules and regulations only. Whatever, because those are the best rules and regulations. And if you see, Race Across America also follows the same WUCA standards only. So it is almost the same. So we are going to follow all the WUCA rules and regulations, and we're going to get affiliation from them. We are just talking to them right now and introducing our race and who we are and what we are doing and all those things. And of course, Ram qualifier also will come along. We are talking to them, but I think it's going to take another couple of weeks before we actually we get the official things done. Anirudh, can you talk about technology and how you want to leverage it and showing the real time positions of the riders and all,
So
because we want to make it interesting. Yeah.
yeah. So so actually we've used many different tech uh, components earlier with Ride Across India, which Amit did. We actually tested out some of the tracking technology, and at this point we'll actually try to keep it simple and track people through their phones, and then the other one would be now Garmin has made their APIs open, so we'll just build the component stack, the tech stack around that, and track. If people have Garmin's, then we'll be able to track through Garmin itself and see,
Yes.
get as much biomarkers as possible. Like, if we can do that, that is provided riders are also open to providing the biomarkers, like heart rate, the calorie counts. So getting that information is useful not just for the crew. I mean, for us, that was very useful because we were actually measuring Amit's muscle oxygen levels. So while he was doing the ride across India, and it
Yeah, we
helped
measured power also.
yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, we were able to track his what how much water he was losing, right? So just replacing that water was an interesting piece of information. So to begin with, the first two legs, he was not drinking much water, and then when we noticed that, we said, "Oh, hey, you guys have to." He's losing about 10 liters, per leg. You guys have to actually replenish it. So that's where hydration also became a very important piece of this. So technology will play a role, but we are still working on some components. At this point, we are going to use their mobile phones to do the tracking. They'll have their apps on there, and we will track them. We'll just do the simple GPS tracking, so everyone will have that piece of tracking. But for the others, yeah, who have Garmin, we'll try to get that integrated as well.
Right. So this this kind of using technology to track riders whereabouts is not only important in terms of organization perspective for organizers, but also makes it very interesting for those who are following the
Yes.
people, right? The dot watchers, so to speak. People like us
Yeah.
sitting at home and with coffee or biryani or whatever, and watching the people suffer across riding
Suffer.
across India. Right.
Yeah.
So it'll be very interesting to follow all them. And talking about the the event itself, what are the dates for the first edition of the event?
1st February. 1st February we will start from Srinagar.
1st February
That's
2023
2023. Yes.
is the start from Srinagar.
Yeah.
The race is going to get flagged off 1st of February 2023. So riders have ample time for I think right amount of time to if start looking at it, start preparing, and
Yes.
getting ready for the
This is a
event.
perfect time to start preparing, training, getting your crew together. I think, and another very important feature of this race is the video and the photography, because it is we are going to have a major focus on the video and the photography, because this is what will make bring in the essence of the race out, and we plan to have a entire media team on the route for 3600 kilometers. So that's a very big organizing aspect, one big pillar of this race is the media, the photographs, the videos, and getting those stories out during the race. That is extremely important because that is what the people would like to see when the race is happening. And of course, the leaderboard and the tracking and the dot watchers, that's what because the entire cycling and marathon running community will definitely follow this race in a big way. And and how everybody is going to do. And so the and we are also going to have a movie out of this particular race coming out, because then people can watch that movie and and see how the race went. For so there will be entire movie made on this particular race for the first edition. So there are a lot of big potential things can happen, but I think the most important thing is the cycling community should come out and participate, and and in teams, if not solo, come in teams, participate, and make race across India the the truly the race to be looked forward for every year.
Yeah. Definitely, I think this is something that is going to interest a lot of riders, lot of endurance, ultra endurance community riders are going to take keen interest in this, and I foresee the first edition itself seeing very good participation. So uh, there is no doubt that cycling community is going to come and support this event in a big way. If one rider needs a substantial crew to pull it off, uh, yeah, I can totally imagine the kind of resources you would need as an organizing team to actually pull it off for how many of our participants that are going to take part. So this is not going to be something that is very easy from an organizing point of view. So it is a challenging event to pull it off, but with the kind of team that is there in the organizing, with the experience that organizing team has in taking part and pulling off ultra endurance events, I am
Yeah.
sure you guys will be doing a great job.
Yeah, kind words. Thank you so much.
No, I'm really looking forward to the event. It is great to see events like this coming up.
Hello.
There is the race across Karnataka that Srini is doing now. The race across India that you Amit and team, you guys are doing, and the team at Inspire India with Divya Tate and team,
Yes.
the kind of events that they are doing right now. I think this weekend is the race the in Leh that is happening, right? The Himalayan extreme that is going on right now. So, and with the kind of events, the number of events growing is very important for the cycling community, right? The more number of events that are there, the more number of people that get inspired and go out and participate, and the whole sport improves. So I'm sure the kind of work that you guys are putting to make these things happen is going to help the cycling community grow much much bigger. So thanks for doing this.
Thank you, Venki, for inviting us for this particular
It is my
podcast.
pleasure, and I wish the team and the riders who are going to take part all the very best for the event. I am going to include the link to the site raceacrossindia.org site
Yeah.
in the show notes, so that people can check out all the details that are available on the site. and learn more about it. All right. Thanks.
Thank you.
That was my conversation with Amit and team. I hope you found that useful. If you are enjoying the podcast and finding that useful, please consider supporting the podcast by subscribing to the channel on YouTube as well as on your favorite podcasting app. It really helps. Thanks again for your continuous support. See you next week with another guest.